All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Francis to Friends. We got 13-year NBA vet Mike James, NBA champion Mike James. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing well. And yourself?
You doing good, man. Can't complain. Can't complain. Busy, but it's life. I'm alive. Can't
Of
complain,
course.
man. Yeah, yeah. So before we kind of jump into everything, man. Growing up, who were some of the players or idols you kind of idolized growing up? You being from New York, you watching the
Oh,
league. Some of the players you watched growing up.
I mean, Rod Strickland, Kenny Anderson, these guys is probably about 10 years older than me. So when they was first, in college and in high school, and I was a young boy, this is you've always hear of New York Flash, but you've only heard of New York Flash in the parks. You've
Yeah,
never really heard of too many players that was able to have that New York mindset and that New York Flash with them, but take it to the highest level and be able to excel and still, you know, don't nothing change. Like they game, if they play in the Rucker or if they playing in the NBA playoffs, they're gonna
yeah,
be doing the same moves.
yeah, yeah.
And so I've always been impressed with guys that the defense is just at their mercy. And so guys like Tim Hardaway, Rod Strickland, Kenny Anderson would definitely, and they said I used to shoot like Tim Hardaway. They used to call me Baby Tim when I was in Miami. I ain't really
Nice.
like that, but at the same time, because it was personal with me.
Hmm.
Interesting story. We probably gonna go back to
Yeah,
Miami and all that,
sure.
but
Yeah,
interesting. Tim Hardaway was probably my first. Tim Hardaway helped me become a better basketball player. My rookie year, I was in Miami,
hmm,
and we used to always go to the gym. And he's just now retired, like he's just now on the end of his career, but he's
yeah,
still Tim Hardaway, got the bad knees, you know what I mean? But he's
yeah,
still
yeah,
Timmy. And so
yeah.
here I am, this young buck up and coming, and now all his friends in Miami is starting to call me Baby Tim, and he don't like it. He's like, yo, don't call him no Baby Tim. He ain't me. So one day in the gym, we was playing against each other, and the games were 15, and he scored, three twos were one and threes were two. He scored 14 points and made an assist for the 15th point.
Yeah.
And it was all on me. Like it was so embarrassing. It was absolutely nothing I could do. And I was trying everything in my heart to stop him, and I couldn't. And he scored 15 straight points to me. And it was the first time someone has ever dominated me like that. And there was nothing I could do in return. I just grabbed my bag and I left the gym to never
Out.
go back to the gym again. Like I never went back to that gym that whole summer. I didn't want to see him at all that whole summer. But what I did was every day that I trained, I thought about him.
Yeah.
Every day that I trained, I thought of that moment. And it hurt me so bad that it was like, I will never let that happen to me again. But I can't go mess with him right now because I ain't ready. Like I know I ain't ready.
Yeah.
I gotta go add on some more stuff
Yeah.
before I go see him again. So the funny thing is the next season, I went back to the gym and I saw him and I was like, yeah. So when we played against each other, the games were 15. I didn't
Yeah.
score 15, but I scored 14 points on him.
Okay.
But it was on purpose. And we got the win. He didn't score a basket. You could have blamed it on his knees. It didn't matter. He was at the end of his career. He's
Yeah.
old. It didn't matter. All I wanted was my punch back.
Yeah.
And when I
Yeah.
got my hit back, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
now I can start coming back to the gym. But even in my own head, I started saying, now I'm starting to get a little better.
Yeah.
Like now, okay, you starting to get a little better because what a person was able to do to you, they can't do that to you no more.
Can't do that no more. Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah, so that was definitely my funny Tim Hardaway.
that's dope. Yeah. Yeah. Timmy, man, he was a cold dude.
Oh, cold blooded,
Yeah,
cold
cold.
blooded. I got it. I got it in pickup, so you can imagine.
Yeah, he was killing dudes.
Oh,
Um, kind of touching back on the new on you being from New York, man. Yeah, you got a lot of like New York is known for a lot of things. Yeah, Big Apple, music, all that stuff. But the biggest thing people know New York about is the guards, point guards. In particular, you got like Mark Jackson, Kenny Smith, Kenny Anderson, Marbury. You got Telfair. Yeah, you got all these guards, and you got yourself, man, in that mix. Talk to me about like what it was like growing up in the city and like playing those guards, playing like obviously those guys are older than you, but you're in the city with guards, man. Like, what was it like?
I mean, you got to remember also is I'm from Long Island, and so
Yeah,
I'm not from the five boroughs, so I'm on
girls,
the
yeah,
outside looking in. So they had their boroughs, they had what was going on in the private schools, and here we was one of the top schools in New York, but we was
yeah,
a public school, and we was from Long Island,
yeah.
and so I can remember playing in. It's funny because we played in a tournament, the Doc Turner tournament. And we
Mm-hmm.
was like the only team from Long Island, and it was teams from Manhattan, teams from Brooklyn, teams from
Yeah.
Bronx. And here we are, we the Amityville, we the Long Island team. So they just knew that they were just going to smash us. They like, man, y'all from the island. So the funny thing is, Cam'ron, the rapper, Mase,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
rapper, all of them was on this team.
yeah, yeah,
And this is when they could play a little bit. So they tried to
yeah,
bully us and we was like, man, listen, the only difference between us and y'all got buildings, we got houses, but it's the same problem. So
yeah,
however y'all want to handle whatever there is to handle,
yeah.
we
We
can
with it
deal
though.
with it on whatever level, because the same things that's happening in your area, in your community, in your town is the same things happening in our town.
Yeah,
Drugs, murder,
all of that.
poverty. It's all the same thing. Only difference is you are a borough and we Long Island. And so
Yeah,
that was one of the things that growing up that we used to always have to fight being from Long Island, is that just the respect level. So I
yeah,
always played with a chip on my shoulder because I was always like, man, y'all going to respect me. Y'all got no choice but to respect me. And I
mm-hmm.
demand my respect. And so however we can do it, we can. So they always knew me for being a hothead. They always
Yeah,
knew me for playing hard. But at the end of the day, I was always,
respect it.
ready to soak up all the information, a good person. But when it came to the game, it was personal. So anytime I saw a New York guard, it didn't matter. Rafer, Alston, Steph Marbury,
Marbury, yeah,
whoever it was. If you was a New York guard and I saw you, it didn't matter if it was in a park, it didn't matter if it was in the gym, the NBA court. I remember one time I was playing in Dallas. I was 38 starting for the Mavericks.
yeah.
And we played against Utah. And what's his name used to play for Indiana Pacers.
Guard.
Yes, the guard. Played for the
Um,
Indiana Pacers.
Not well. There's Lance Stevenson, but not him. He's
Now, before Lance
he's too
Stevens, the
young.
point
Yeah, he's
guard.
too young. He's too young.
He was the point guard. About during the time when Steven Jackson and
Oh, Jamaal Tinsley.
Jamaal Tinsley.
Jamaal Tinsley.
So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm old in the game now. We
yeah.
hugging and laughing before the game. And as soon as the game start, though, it's like I see red right now. Like,
Yeah.
you a New York guard. So I
Yeah.
gotta embarrass you. I gotta go at you right now, regardless of what's going on. Any chance that I can go one-on-one against you, I'm going at your neck and trying to run the play at the same time. I gotta make sure I'm running the play, but inside my head, I'm like, I'm gonna go at you at some point. I'm gonna get at you because you are a New York guard. And when you take this back to New York, I want you to also take back the fact that Mike James tore into me.
Yeah.
It was always personal.
I mean, that fire right there helped you get from New York to college in Pittsburgh, coming up as a New York kid, Long Island kid, and then you get to Pittsburgh and playing college ball, 4 years college. What was that journey like for you, man?
I mean, being a New Yorker, they always say if you can live in New York, you can survive anywhere. So that's what helped me get a lot of places in my life was my New York state of mind. Especially on the basketball court, it could be a gift and it can be a curse.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, it was such a gift because of that on you. And I'm just, You know, that's just and the only other people that understand that is other New Yorkers.
Yeah,
You know, we are outcasted, and why you so aggressive, and why you when you on the outside, but when you are a New Yorker and you see that, if you don't have that in you, it's like, man, you soft. Get out of here. Like, what part of where you from? Like, that's the next thing. Like, man, where you from? If you ain't got that, just that about you. It don't matter if it's in the game. It don't matter if it's in the street. It don't matter if it's in business. It don't matter. It's a New York state of mind. It's a mindset that all New Yorkers have. And it's funny. I mean, I'm gonna get to your question, but it's a funny story. I remember I went to visit my boy one day. This was later on in life. I'm in my 40s now, and I just decided to go home, you know, visit my family. And, you know, it's early in the morning, and being in Houston, I got used to just waving at people. Like, I'll just be walking down the streets like, hi, hi, like, and they wave back. It's like the coolest thing. Like, they're gonna wave back. And if you don't wave back, I'd be like, forget you then. I ain't waving at nobody else no more, man. You ain't gonna wave at me. So I'm in New York, mind you. I'm not in Houston. I'm in New York, and I'm walking down the street, and a man is going into a deli, and I just said, good morning. It's like 8 in the morning, 7:30, 8 in the morning. I said, good morning. He stopped. He looked at me like he wanted to fight me. He was angry. And I'm looking at him like, are you serious right now? Like, you real mad at me because I said good morning? So I didn't think nothing of it, but I was like, yo, that is so weird. But then a lady was walking into the store. She had her purse on her shoulder. I said, good morning. She jumped her purse, grabbed her purse real tight, stopped at the door and looked at me and was just like stopped there for like 10 seconds, was staring at me like, why is you talking to me right now? And in my head, all I said was good morning. Good morning. And the funny thing is, that's just the mindset. That New York mindset is like it's just everyone has it. You know, it's not just a basketball thing, it's a lifestyle. And you gotta have that mindset in order to survive in New York, because what people will do is people are always looking for easy prey. And you can't ever look easy, and you can't ever look sweet in no way. You can't have a sweet demeanor about you. You can't have a sweet talk about you. Ain't nothing sweet got to be about you. It always got to just be I might not be able to rip your head off, but he looked like he might be able to rip my head off, so I'm gonna leave him alone. That's the mind. That's the only way that people ain't gonna mess with you. Like, if you look sweet, they might take their chances on you. But at the end of the day, so having that mindset, growing up in New York and then going to Pittsburgh, you know, it was definitely a culture shock for me. I went to a 97% white school, you know, where I grew up in a black neighborhood, grew up around black people my whole life, even was raised around 5%ers. And they told me about 30% of my life that the white man was the devil. And so I'm sitting there thinking the white man, the devil my whole life. And then I go to Duquesne and I'm like, wait a minute, dog. Like, well, I got to go to another school. I got to go to FAMU. I got to go to a black college. This ain't it. This ain't it. So that was the first thing. But then what I learned also by going to Duquesne University was that white people aren't the only devils. There's black devils also. And so that was one of the first lessons that I've learned about, you know what I'm saying? And that mindset is that it's not a color that the demon is going to possess. It's a person. And so, you know what? I ain't going to put no emphasis on a race. I ain't going to put no emphasis on that. I'm going to put an emphasis on a person. You know, and how that person handles me. And whether black, white, Jew, Greek, it don't matter. And so that was the first thing I had to learn in the experience of going to Duquesne University. And then just being on my own. I mean, I went to Redemption Christian Academy, a prep school, you know, away from home, but being in Pittsburgh, it was still a hood. Like, even though I'm in Pittsburgh, I was like, Pittsburgh almost worse than New York. Like, this place is crazy. I know a few of my people that, you know, came to Pittsburgh to do illegal stuff. Because that was one of the ports. It was in Pittsburgh, but a few of them got murdered out there, and they were some wild boys. So it let me know, like, yo, this city
Real.
is really like it's for real. Even though my
Yeah.
college is, predominantly white. I went
Mhm.
to my roommate, he lived in Duquesne, PA. And I went to Duquesne University, and my
Mhm.
roommate lived in Duquesne, PA. And
Yeah.
Duquesne, PA was probably one of the worst cities I've ever went to in my life. Like,
Wow.
I mean, we would go into his town and it's all his boys. Like it'll be about 20 of them. But
Yeah.
they'll be ready. They'll be gambling in their little house. They'll got
Mhm.
all the drugs around. Next thing you know, 20 guys are pulling out 20 different pistols to lay on the chair so they can all go gamble. And I'm looking, but me, I'm paying attention to all this. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at this like, yo, where does this dude have me right now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to Duquesne University. I didn't leave New York to experience. I don't care about this right here. I
Yeah.
left this so I can get a better life. And
Yeah.
I'm already getting put right in the middle
Back
of it
into
again.
it.
I was just like, oh my goodness. But yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. No, I definitely understand that. Yeah, yeah. So you leave college and you end up going undrafted, right? Make your way Austria, France. Before you get your feet wet in the NBA. Um, those 2-3 years, whatever, before you guys actually made it to the league. What was that grind like, man? Like what kind of mindset do you have to be in to kind of get through that? Because you ultimately knew that you wanted to get to the league, right? So what was that grind like getting to there? Those years playing
I mean,
overseas.
it was. I don't think that if I would, if I don't think if I was such I was a realist in my career as well. And
Mhm.
so I never like what made me believe that I was still an NBA basketball player, even though I never played for an NBA team. I didn't get drafted and I
Mhm.
never worked out for a team was I was still dominating everyone on every level that I was at. It was like, man, I'm playing in the USBL. It's these guys ahead of me, and I'm watching them out
Mhm.
of college. But it's like, you know what? Anytime I get my chance, I'm like, man, I'm hooping. Like,
Yeah.
all right, Mike, like you keep saying you want to be in the NBA, but can you dominate these minor leagues first before you
Yeah.
can even
Yeah.
think about playing on a higher level? What are you
Mhm.
doing on these lower levels? And
Yeah.
so I went to Europe, Austria. We won the championship that year. I was the MVP. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can still play in the league. Ain't nobody
Yeah.
nicer than me on this level. So then I
Mhm.
said, all right. I went to France to follow next year. Nobody called me in the NBA, so I got an opportunity to play in France. I'm up
Mhm.
for MVP votes. We in the Pro A division, and I'm killing. So I
Yeah.
said, man, I can still be an NBA basketball player because I'm still better than everybody over here.
Yeah.
And so that third year, it was just like I dominated so much and I was so good. And it was like, you know what? I'm going to get my chance at the league because if I wouldn't have been able to dominate those levels, I probably wouldn't have believed that I would have
Yeah.
been good enough. I'd have been like, Mike, who's zooming who? Like you lying
Yeah.
to yourself. Don't lie to
Mhm.
yourself. You know, let's stay at the level that we believe that we can play at and we could dominate. But I was
Mhm.
so much at more, I had my way at each level that I played on. So it was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I still think I'm an NBA basketball player. And so as soon as that opportunity comes, if I get that chance and I take advantage of it, man, ain't nobody going to be able to take this away from me. So
Yeah.
after that third year, I got a call to come to a workout for the Miami Heat.
Mhm.
And I want to say it was like May. And it was like May, the end of the season. It was, I think it was May before the draft. It could have been before the draft. And they had a mini camp, just a
Mhm.
weekend, Friday, Saturday, and go home on Sunday. But they had about 60 players there for two spots.
Damn.
They was looking for a
Damn.
point guard, and they was looking for a big man.
Damn.
And the first day, it was Malik Allen and myself. We was on the same team, and Malik Allen and myself, and we killed everyone that day. So then the next day we was on the team together. We killed everyone the next day. And then, Sunday, they was ready. They was sending everyone home. And they said Pat Riley called me in the office, was like, yo, we couldn't evaluate you in these last 3 days. Can you stay another week? I was like, Yeah, I understand. Like, don't even worry about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So they brought in another 10 more point guards, another 10 more guards, another 10 more big men. They was looking for, and they was bringing in veterans. They was bringing in old vets, young vets, kids that was just got drafted, lottery, whoever they could find. They was bringing in for that spot. And all I kept saying to myself was, "It's a wrap. Like, can't nobody get this spot? I am in the building. I'm going in the equipment room. Can I get me a pair of socks?" And they giving me a pack of socks. I'm like, "Oh, it's a wrap." I'm like, "Hey, my shoes is a little worn out. What size you wear?" 12 and a half. "Oh, I got 3 pair right here for you." I said, "Oh." So I say, it don't matter who y'all bring into this spot. I made everybody uncomfortable. I mean, and the funny thing is, leading up to that 3-day camp, I was living in Louisiana at the time, and I was working out in this gym that had no air conditioning. It was old basketballs, and they had dumbbells. They had 35-pound dumbbells, and the old, the bench with the cement, like the weights, they like the concrete. They had concrete weights. It was like 225s and a 10. And this is all I had to work out with.
Damn.
Like, this was all I had. This was my gym. A bench with a 25 and a 10 on it, and some 35-pound dumbbells, and a gym. It was 110 degrees outside. It was 125 degrees in that gym.
Wow.
And for a month leading up to the opportunity to be able to get to be seen in front of an NBA team, this was my workout every day. This was my grind. Running. People used to say, I used to check on you when you used to run in the morning, because I would run like 4 and 5 miles, but it would be like 110 degrees outside. They used to be like, "Yo, I would check on you just to see if you made it." Like, that boy gonna die. They was like, "That boy, I need to go get him some water. He gonna die." But every day I did this. And nobody couldn't tell me that I didn't have enough. I had everything I needed in order for me to be able to make myself successful. And so when I went to that workout, I didn't have no trainers. I didn't have no top of the line technology. I had a grind. I had that old school. So it was just like, when I was there, it was like, man, y'all can't take this from me. You could be better than me. You could be faster than me. You could be tougher than me. You could be all those things more than me, but I'm just as. So as long as I always told myself, I'm just as good as you. So I'm not scared of you. There's nothing that you can do that is going to intimidate me. Because I'm just as. So as long as I said that to myself, when I went to those workouts, it was just like, I'm not intimidated by none of y'all, because I'm just as. And because I'm just as tough, I'm just as athletic, I shoot just as good as you, my ball handle is just as good as yours. Yours might be better than mine, but I'm just as. And so that confidence always made me feel like, man, once I get the opportunity, can't nobody take it from me, because I'm just as good as everybody that's already in the league.
That is a message, man. Like, I talk to a bunch of kids that I work all the time, and like you guys gotta want it more than anyone else wants it for you, and you gotta have the confidence to know that you belong in those spaces. So that's dope. So you get that call, you in Miami, you doing your thing in Miami. What was your welcome to the NBA moment? You're in the league, you got your contract, got your jersey, you got your locker, you on the team bus, you doing all that stuff. What was it that you're like, damn, I'm really in the league. I did it. What was that moment for you?
I don't know. I know the moment. Well, the moment that kind of made it. Something happened that stayed with me for my whole career, but it happened in the beginning. I remember we was playing against the Orlando Magic in the preseason. This was the first preseason game. And Grant Hill was on the team. Tracy McGrady was on the team. All these guys. And the first thing, when I first walked into the arena, I was like, man, what the hell is that smell? I was like, why the hell it keeps? I was like, why does it smell like this? Like, what's that smell? And so, like, to myself, I just was just like,
yeah.
But it was popcorn popping. You know, I worked out and I trained in the gym all the time, but I never trained the day of. I never been in the gym game day. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So when I walked in the gym, I was just like, damn. So I'm in the locker room. I just like, yo, you smell that? They like, what? I'm like, nothing. Like, so I'm like weirded out. So the whole game, I'm on the bench just like, hey, what the hell is that smell? Like, why does it smell like it's so strong? Like, it is so strong in my nose. It's almost like it's almost in my throat. How nervous I am and how I'm so focused on this stench.
Smell,
And next thing you know, I get in the game. He probably put me in the game for 2 minutes. First of all, I couldn't even believe I was in the game with T-Mac and Grant Hill right now. I looked at T-Mac like, oh my goodness, like I'm in the league right now. Like, I'm here. So really, I want to be like this right now. But I'm like, come on, Mike, be cool. Run the offense, run the play. That damn smell is killing you right now. Don't even worry about it. So I take the ball up and down the court maybe 2 times. My lungs close up to the point where I can't even breathe. I'm so nervous. My lips are so ashy. I am so dry. I'm sitting there like, yo, I can't even play right now. If I tried to play, I'll probably die because I can't breathe. And I went back to the bench, and I was just like, damn, like I'm breathing hard, and I was just like, ask somebody else, yo, what's that smell? Like now I'm confident. I got in the game. Like, what the hell is that smell? And they're like, what you talking about? Popcorn? I was like, that's popcorn? Like, oh, all right, that's okay. So now I know what it is.
Yeah.
Every time I walked into an arena on game day, I always took a deep breath.
What that is?
Popcorn. Like smell popcorn is game day.
But
that first time I smelled it, I thought that like I smelled like a dead body that was like decomposing for like damn near 2 months or something, let alone it's hot, fresh, buttery popcorn. So that became like a signature for me. Every time I walked in the gym after that for my whole entire career, I always looked for that popcorn smell because I knew that popcorn meant game day. It's time to get on.
Time to go. That's funny as hell. Popcorn. All right, man. So kind of you have your career, fast forward a little bit, 2004, you kind of jump on with them boys in Detroit, man. Talk about that season, man. Like, did you guys know, like, we'll get to the finals and all that stuff, but did you guys know as that year started that you guys had a chance to get all the way?
We had the record that year for we have the record still since the 24-second shot clock holding teams under 70 points in a row. We held like 5 teams under 70 points. You know, teams was averaging like 105, then they play against us and have 65. You know, so we got to the point where we was just like, yo, how much is this team going to score tonight? Man, we trying to keep them under 50 tonight. Like, we got arrogant with our defense. And the funny thing was, we wasn't really a good defensive team. We just learned how to muck the game up. We just scrambled the game, and we made players play at a faster pace than what they were normally used to playing at. And so instead of getting a shot with 5 seconds left on the shot clock because you ran your whole offense and you looked at all the options, man, we are forcing you to get the ball up the court in 5 seconds, and we're forcing you to shoot the ball in less than 10 seconds. So now you playing at our pace. This is what we wanted you to do. We know this ain't what you want. So it was almost like we almost played on the opponent's the weaknesses. Knowing that they ain't trying to play at that fast pace for a consistent level of time. But we're going to make you play at that level. And so that's what made us good. So by the time the playoffs came and all of that, man, we was just like, playoffs? Man, these teams ain't going to score 70 against us in these playoffs. That's how we looked at it. We was like, it don't matter. It's a wrap this year. Like, I don't care about what happens next year, but y'all already know we shouldn't even, like your boy said and Fat Joe said in Lean Back, even Kirkland couldn't imagine that. You know, we didn't even have to play to win a championship. Like we felt like we didn't even have to play. Y'all should just give us the championship because it's a wrap. So when we beat the Lakers 4-1, we was beating every. The only series that we had that was tough was New Jersey took us to 7 in the second round of the playoffs. They took us 7. They took us 7. We beat everybody else. Nobody won over 2 games after that. Yeah. Like we was destroying teams. Why? Because we always used to say, play hard and go hard, go harder, play harder.
Yeah.
So we went hard on the court.
You were ready for it.
Man, anything.
So like I remember watching that series, and Kobe is my favorite player. So I'm watching that series. I'm like, damn, like these guys can't do nothing. You guys getting strapped. You guys getting nothing. And then
Kobe. This was our strategy. Our strategy was Shaq is Shaq, Kobe is Kobe. Yeah. The rest of y'all trash. Yeah. Like the rest of y'all scoring 2 and 4 points. Ain't nobody else on y'all team scoring over 10. We're going to let Kobe have his 30. We're going to let Shaq have his 30 and 15, 20 rebounds. That's 60 points.
Yeah.
Who else is scoring? How are y'all going to get y'all points any other way? Derek Fisher's not going to give you no 15 because we're not double teaming Shaq. We playing him one-on-one, so that's not going to leave open shots for no one else.
Yeah.
So everyone else had to work for their game, which they not used to doing. Everyone else got their success off of Kobe and Shaq. Everyone double teaming them and everyone else getting spoon fed. So if ain't nobody going to get spoon fed, that means you got to work for your points. We already know that's not y'all games. So we was like, listen, let Kobe and Shaq do them. Rest of y'all, y'all done. Y'all done. And if you look at the series and if you look at the stats, Kobe might have 25, Shaq will have 30. Everyone else was 6, 2, 4, 3, 1. But they normally average in double figures during the regular season. And so that was just our mindset throughout that series was forget Shaq and Kobe. Ain't nothing we can do with them. But everybody else, they regular.
Nah. I kind of heard listening to Sheed and Chauncey talk about it on All the Smoke. And they were like going into that series, like you guys were super, super confident going to that series. So kind of you echoing those sentiments kind of shows me that like you guys were really on 100 the whole year. Nobody could beat us that year. We already had that even during the regular season. When we started clicking on all cylinders, we was like, hold on, dog. Yeah. Because if you think about our team that year, what made us so interesting is we had 12 starters on one team. Yeah.
We had 12 starters on one team. You take our bench, they starting on half the NBA rosters.
Yeah. You guys had a squad for sure.
So, but our starting 5 was so dominant.
Yeah.
You take our starting 5, you can match our starting 5 up against any starting 5 in any era. But see, when they start talking about championship teams and all of that, see, this is the thing that they forget. Yes, your 5 may be just as good as the 5 that we had in 2004 or better, but the problem is going to be when they start making substitutions.
Yeah.
That's when it's going to be issues. See, when we used to be, I remember I used to be in the game when Chauncey and them be playing. Lindsay and I used to always sit next to each other, and he used to play too much. Like he was such a jokester. He used to always do silly stuff to me. I would be watching the game, and I can remember we playing against Milwaukee in the first round, and I'm watching Damon Jones dribble the ball. And I'm watching his cadence and his tendencies. And I said, Lindsay, I got it. Listen, I'm gonna turn him 3 times in the backcourt. And then as soon as he get by half court, I'm gonna reach for the ball. I'm gonna try to go for the steal, but that's when you're gonna be right there. He was like, MJ, I got you. He's like, don't even worry about it. So it was already mapped out how I would watch a player. See, Lindsay wasn't the one putting on the pressure. He was the smart one playing in the back. I was the wild young one, you know, so I was such a scorer, and Larry Brown wasn't allowing us to shoot the ball like that. So the only way we can get buckets is off steals. So it was just like, I gotta get the ball. I want the ball. So I used to always just be like, I want the ball. Like, so I had that mindset when I played. It was almost like the replacements. And the linebacker, go get the ball. Like, I was that person on the team. Like, she would be like, yo, you ready? I'm like, nah, give me like 2-3 times up the court, man. Let me get loose. He'd be like, all right. Then the next time out, he'd be like, you ready? I'd be like, yeah, I'm ready. He'd be like, go get him. He was like, almost like he was taking me off a leash.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now I'm turning the guy like 3-4 times in the backcourt. I'm making him. Sometimes I used to get steals. By the time he done took his 3rd, 4th dribble, I already got the ball in my hands. Like, it used to be so crazy that I used to just make guards just dribble the ball real fast and get the ball as fast as they can. Get away from me because I'm on you. Like, I'm on you. Like, that used to be like such a thing for me, was just being able to see, man, I don't think you're handled like that.
Yeah.
Test it.
Test it out. Yeah, I'm testing it out.
Test it. And being a New York guard, you couldn't really trick me.
Yeah.
We played against cross. We started the crossovers. We started that era of playing with the ball like that. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just beat me off of just a trick. I'm paying attention. I'm not paying attention to the ball. I've learned all those methods, and when I was able to utilize it in that area, it was like, oh, it's a wrap. I'm gonna show y'all really how defense is supposed to be played.
Facts. All right, so fast forward to 2005, 2006, man. You end up out here in Toronto, man. What were your first thoughts about coming? Like obviously you've played in Toronto before being in the league, you know, but what was your first thoughts about coming out here and being in the city and the people and stuff?
It caught me by surprise. It was messed up, you know. That trade messed me up. Like that was the first time a trade has ever hurt me.
Yeah.
You know, because it was the day after media day.
Okay.
So I did all of this Houston Rockets stuff, like let's go Rockets stuff, and we with the Rockets this year. Let's go, you know, all the media day stuff. And then I'm getting ready in the morning for the next day for practice. I'm excited. I think practice is at 9. I'm up at like 6. I'm ready to go to the gym early, get into my routine. And I get a phone call from Jeff Van Gundy saying, yo, you got traded. I said, what? I said, traded? Yeah. Traded where? He said, Toronto. I said, Toronto? Toronto was a bottom feeder at that time. I'm like, Toronto? I said, whoa. I said, traded for who? He said, Rafer Alston. Oh. I said, who else? I said, and who else? He said, it was just a straight up trade. I said, are you serious? I said, you traded me straight up? You didn't even put no draft picks or no money involved, nada? I said, okay, total disrespect, total hurt, but it's all good. And I can remember I was driving my kids to school. My wife was in the front seat. My oldest daughter was 4. My youngest daughter was 2 at the time, about turned 2. And I'm driving and I'm talking to my wife and I'm just like, dang, when am I ever going to be respected in this game? When am I ever going to, you know, get the respect that I deserve in this game? And I started crying. You know, I was bawling, you know, it hurt. And then my wife didn't know what to say. My oldest daughter didn't know what to say. And my youngest daughter, she went just like this. Daddy, a crybaby. Daddy, a crybaby. Daddy, a crybaby. And it was almost like she was saying to me, boy, if you don't shut up, suck it up, go to Toronto, go handle your business and do what you got to do. Quit crying, you big baby. So I looked at her. So when she started doing it, I looked at her. And I said, you know what? You're right. I said, I wiped my tears and I said, you're right, baby. I said, you're 100% right. I got you. And that was the mindset. When I came to Toronto, it was just like, man, I ain't playing with nobody. I'm on a mission. F all of y'all. Y'all gonna trade me anyway. So what? But I'm the commodity, and I'm gonna make sure I'm playing for that person on the name on the back of my jersey, not the name on the front of my jersey no more. Like it's a wrap. So I built this anger inside of me, but that anger is what built such a great competitiveness inside of me. But it hurt me in the same process as well. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just always I want to just dig my fingers and just rip something apart. Even the way I played, that's how I played. I always played was just that, you know, what you want to fight? Bet. Like, let's get it in. Like, we can keep it basketball or we can throw these things. However, so I got into it with so many players when I was in Toronto. I got into it with Shaq. I got into it with Juwan Howard. I got into it all these different players. And the funny thing is, the only reason why I got into it with most of these guys is they didn't appreciate the level of respect that I was getting from the front office and the coaches.
Yeah, yeah.
So I remember one time, because, you know, I played in Boston my third year in the NBA, and then I got traded from Boston to Detroit. That's how I won the championship. And we was playing against Boston in Toronto. So I walk out about to get up shots, and I see Paul Pierce. And Paul said, because he's like, man, I'm blowed right now.
Yeah.
I said, what you talking about? He's like, man, I'm blowed right now. I said, what you mean? He said, listen, dog, Doc Rivers just said the same. He was like, yo, the same way we guard Allen Iverson and the same methods we use on defense to guard Allen Iverson, we using that against you? He was like, wait. I had to look at him like, yo, what is you talking about? Yeah. We don't need to play Mike the same way we playing Allen Iverson, but that's the level of respect. So when these coaches was always talking about how dangerous and how much of a threat, and you can't let them get going on a scouting report, and you got to do this, they like, who the hell is Mike James? This cat. Nobody care about no. So they almost got annoyed with the level of respect that I was getting from the coaching staffs in the front office. So they would always be like, you ain't this, you ain't that, you soft, you. And I would always be like, hold up, dog. Man, push the basketball to the side. What you want to do? Damn basketball. What you mean? What you want to do? How you want to handle this? Yeah. So I remember the funniest story. We playing against Miami, in Miami. And, you know, so I think I hit like a couple of shots or whatever, but I got subbed out. It's like the second quarter. You know, Sam Mitchell subs me back in, so I'm sitting on the scores table right now. You know, just watching the game, sitting on the scores table, and then Shaq says to me, "Man, you ain't shit. F you." What? I said, "Dog, you don't even know me. How you gonna speak on me? And you don't even know me." He's like, you ain't this, you ain't that. So I'm red right now. Just off his words. I still had like 30-something for the game. We lost the game, right? And it's the end of the game. And Shaq is like right here in front of me. And I'm standing in his space. I'm not in his I'm not like this on him, but I'm close enough that he can acknowledge me, that he feel like I like my temperature's high right now. Like I got a little fever going on right now. So if you wanted to check my temperature, like it's high. He don't even acknowledge me. He's high-fiving all his teammates. And then so I'm standing there for about maybe 2-3 minutes just looking at him. My whole team goes into the locker room. The only player that's watching everything is Joey Graham. He's the only one. So I turn around and I walk away from Shaq. I'm like, you bitch. Like, I got my chest high. I'm like this. So I'm walking away real confident right now. Like, I just punked Shaq. So then my boy Joey Graham stops me. He said, Mike, he got the most bewildered look on his face. He said, yo, you was about to fight Shaq? And I'm like, man, Shaq don't want none. So I'm in my mix talking crazy. Yeah. He looked at me seriously and he said, Mike, what was your game plan? I went just like this. I thought about it for about 45 seconds. I said, damn, I ain't really have no game plan. Like, I grabbed Joey, literally, seriously, I grabbed Joey in a headlock. I said, come on, let's go back in the locker room. Let's act like we ain't even gonna bring this up, my dude. I was like, Joey, don't even give it no energy. Come on. Like, just leave it alone. Like, my bad, Shaq. Like, I apologize. I hope there's nothing that's going to happen more. But when I tell you, that was the most sobering. It's almost like being drunk and the police get behind you. Yeah. It's like, I'm sober now. I wasn't before, but I am now. When I tell you, I've never went from 10 to 0 so fast in my life. Like, it went from, I want to kill you to, man, come on, let's get out of here. Come on, Shaq. Come on. Get in there with me, dog. Like, and I couldn't believe. I was like, yo, what is wrong with me? Seriously. But that was one of the funniest moments. And I can remember when Juwan Howard, he mushed the ball in my face.
Yeah.
It was funny because he caught me so by surprise. But here it is. I got subbed out the game. I'm coming back in the game, and he's calling me all these names. You ain't this, you ain't that, you B, you punk, you sissy, you did it. I'm like, Jay, you know me. I'm your young boy. Like, I was on the Rockets before I came here. So for the last year, you was my OG. Yeah. And I looked up to you. What you mean? Why? So I started going, so I can't take to when you start talking crazy to me. So I started going right back in at him. So then I got mad because this was the first time we played against the Rockets, right? Since the trade. So in my head, I was like, Mike, let the game come to you. You know, don't do nothing crazy. Like, just relax. Like I had so many emotions inside me, you know. So when he said that, I just turned red. And I was just like, all right. So the next play, I went right at Skip. Got an and one, went to the basket. I said, and one, bitch. He said, what you say? I said, and one, bitch. Man, I didn't think he was going to do this. But he walked up to me and mushed the ball like trying to make me eat the ball. And my teammates grabbed me. And it was a little opening. I wanted to spit my gum in his face so bad. I was like, but something was like, don't do it. Don't do it. I didn't spit my gum in his face, but he got ejected. When I tell you, I had like 38 for that game. I'm talking about, I started walking the ball up between my legs on Skip. I hit a three. I turned to the bench. I remember one time I hit a three in the corner, and I turned to the bench and I said, I dare any one of y'all to finish what he started. All y'all know me on this bench. All y'all know what type of man I am. I said, I dare y'all to start what he finished. I'm talking about, I would walk one of them up the court. I hit a three. I'll look at Jeff. I'll just stare at Jeff and just just grill him. But I was on a 10 for the whole game. Like, who want to fight now? I dare any one of y'all to turn up on me now. So that right there, it was one of those things where even in the scouting report, when I was in Toronto, in the scouting report used to say, let a dead dog sleep. If he sleep, leave him alone. Don't wake him up. Don't talk to him. So they ain't like that. Who this kid? Who he think he is? But that was the thing with me. If I'm sleeping, I'm gonna spend more time focused on myself and trying to get out of this rut. But if you mess with me, if you want to fight, or you like, it's like, hold up, dog. Perfect example. I'm in Chicago. Nate Robinson. I'm playing against Nate Robinson, right? And Nate had like 7 or 8 threes for the game. Okay. He's killing. He's like 7 for 7, 8 for 8. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter. It's like the fourth quarter, right? It's like the fourth quarter, 5 minutes left in the game. He hits a big three that puts them up by like 1 point with like 5 seconds. My coach called it, but he shoots it at like almost like 3 steps behind the 3-point line. So I'm like, man, he ain't gonna shoot that. He shot it and it was all net. I said, ooh. And my coach called a timeout. My whole team is mad at me. Everybody cussing me out. My coach cussed me out. So I'm mad right now at myself. I'm like, come on, Mike, play better defense. Nate walked up to me and said, Mike, I'm busting your old ass. I said, you don't like that. You don't talk to me like that. You better watch your mouth. He like, man, you ain't, he said, you ain't sugar honey iced tea. I'm tearing into you with your old ass. I said, bet, it's a wrap. So when I tell you his water hose was on full blast. When I tell you after he said those words to me, a drip couldn't come out of him.
You're on it.
Man, it was a wrap. After that moment right there, I said, Nate, I bet you won't score another bucket. Get another bucket now. It's a wrap. Now he crying and complaining to the refs, but I'm on you now. Now I'm on you. Like I'm on you. And so that was always my thing, was just like, and I hated that I had to wait till somebody wake me up. That was one of the hardest things for me, was I always used to like play it down. I would always play it down, like always, Mike, be calm, relax, talk to myself, like be chill. And as soon as somebody be like, yo, you trash. What? Like, wait a minute, like, hold up, dog. Like, and I used to always wonder, like, why can't I get into that mode from the beginning? Yeah. And that was just something that it was just like, I always wanted to be a certain type of way, calm and cool. But if you bring out that beast was always in me.
Yeah. You're on it. Kind of fast forward a little bit, January 23rd, 2006, that game out in LA, man. You infamous game out in LA. You were on one that game. You were hot, man. 10 for 15 shooting. You had 26 end the game, but Kobe ended up getting 81 that night. What was that night like, man? Talk to me about that night.
You know what's funny? What's funny is I was angry at myself more than anyone else at that night because I went into halftime with the mindset, okay, Mike, you got like 18, 87 assists.
You're cooking,
like, you know what? But I was like, you know what? Let me get Chris involved. Let me get CB going. Let me get Mo going. Let me get Jalen going. Let me get those guys going. So if you even pay attention to the second half of that game, I come out in the third quarter like this. I come out in the third quarter not shooting. I come out in the third quarter doing this right here. Spoon feeding, actually.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, everyone was missing. Everyone was missing. Kobe get the rebound, score the other end. I come down, get an open play for somebody. Chris miss it. Kobe get the rebound, score the other end. I'm sitting there like, Kobe never let up his relentlessness.
Yeah, he was.
And I think that because we didn't lose by a lot.
No.
We still only lost by like 4 or 5 points. And my biggest issue was the thing that bothered me. I took myself out of my own rhythm of having a really, really, really good game, of having a great game. If I would have went into the halftime with that mindset of, you know what, don't let my foot off their neck, continue to keep being aggressive, continue to keep playing hard, and let the game come to you, however the game, because I still had like 8 assists, even though I was saying I'm going to pass more in the second half. So that's the only one thing that bothered me about that game was, regardless of what Kobe was, but Kobe's a great, and that night it was bound to happen. But I would have rathered him had that 81 in the L.
You get an L, yeah.
That's a fact. And I can remember at one point, because I was still locked into the game. I'm still into the game. And I remember one point in the game, the whole crowd is screaming, Kobe, 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 Kobe. And so in my head, I want to say to my teammates, yo, guys, let's lock in on defense. We only down like 2-3 points. Like, we still got a chance to win this game. Damn what he's doing, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
So I'm about to say something out of my mouth. But then I look at Sam Mitchell. He's over there like, he got his hand over his head like this, shaking his head.
Going through it.
I look at my teammates. Some of them are laughing. Some of them are cheering with the crowd. Kobe.
Yeah.
Like, I can see the rhythm of their body like tapping with the rhythm.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at everybody's demeanor. And I'm just like, oh shit, we lost. I was like, you know what? I was like, forget it. I was like, you know what? I was like, I hate y'all. I was like, I hate all of y'all right now. I can't believe y'all okay with this. Like, I still want to win this game. I see how many damn points he have, but it would sound so much better if we won this damn game with him having this many points. And I look at my team, everyone was done.
Yeah.
Everyone was a Kobe Bryant fan in that gym except me. There was only one person that was in that gym that night that was not a Kobe fan. It was one.
So funny. That's so funny because I talked to Derek Martin. And he was like, his brother was there at the game, and his brother was one of those people who was cheering Kobe. And he's like, man, he was on the bench, and he actually was part of that. He was like, damn, like Kobe's really going to work. So to hear you kind of echo that as well and talk about that, like,
listen, I hated I went on Romans burning the next day and blamed everybody, blamed the coach. I hate all y'all. Kobe wasn't supposed to have no damn 81. We should have been double teaming him. We should have been fouling him. Like, I was so mad. I was so mad. Like, I don't even talk about that game. I don't want to, because everyone else sees it as a great moment.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a great individual moment in the game. I look at it as us being a bunch of cowards and us not being able to take the challenge. And we allowed ourselves to go down in one of the worst things in history as possible.
Yeah.
You know, those people that Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 on, they don't know who played in that game because it was only on radio.
Yeah, yeah.
So every year, January 23rd, it's like a reunion of that damn game being played. Like, I gotta watch this game until I die. You know what? This is a part of life.
Yeah.
It's part of history. And it's like, it sucks that a person would say, well, you played good, Mike. I want to hear that. Like, that wasn't I don't play for my own, and I play to win. Like, I hate to lose more than I love to win.
Yeah.
Like, it was always that. And so when that happened, I was hurt. I was more hurt than anything else.
I remember watching that game. I remember where I was watching it at home, my mom's big ass little box TV. And I'm watching that game. I'm like, damn, he really got 80. I never seen somebody before that. The highest I ever see someone get, like, not even an NBA game, just a game in general, was like 60, 65. You know.
I said, Sam, Coach, let me guard him. It was like the third quarter. He was like, no, Mike, I don't want you to get in foul trouble. I said, what? I said, what are you talking? I said, this dude is in fuego. You got Jose Calderon. Jose got about 20 of it.
Yeah.
Mo Pete got about 30 of it. Jalen got about 40 of it. Like, it was like, I was like, can I at least get one? Let me get one of those buckets. Yeah. So the funny thing is, I had a personal vendetta against Kobe Bryant for the remainder of my career after that game. All I wanted to do was guard Kobe Bryant. All I wanted to do was guard him. Like, I knew Kobe would not have scored 81 in my heart if I would have guarded him. Yeah. And so I remember I was in Dallas playing with Dallas, and we played against. It's the end of the year. We in the ninth spot. In we win this game against the Lakers, we'll clinch the 8th spot in the playoffs. So we playing on TNT. This is a huge game in LA. They give me Rick Carlisle gives me Kobe as my assignment. Mike, you got Kobe. I've been waiting for this day. Like, I've been wanting to guard him forever. Man, I picked up 2 fouls in 30 seconds. I was sitting on the bench for the whole game. I was like, this is some bull crap. I was like, this is some bull crap. I was like, you know what, Kobe, you got it. I'm going to leave you alone, my dude. I'm going to leave you alone. And we lost that game.
Oh, my goodness.
This is how funny it is. We lost that game. I had a donut for that game. Damn. Rick Carlisle ripped me. The next day in the meeting, he was like, who you think you are? You think because you started this year, you think you something special? You think you da-da-da-da-da-da? He ripped me, right? We playing against Portland the next night. I got young Damian Lillard, right? This is like Damian's like second, third year in the NBA. So, you know, he killing. This is he's game time.
Yeah, he's super athletic too.
So I'm sitting there like, I'm like, all right. So we playing against Portland the next night. I remember when the game first started, I ran up to Damian Lillard. I'm sick about the way I played the last game. I ran up to Damian Lillard, and I said to him, I whispered in his ear, I said, I heard you that dude in the league now. I said, you should be able to bust my old ass. I said, I want to see it, though. I said, show me. I want to see it. He looked at me. He looked me up and down, but he ain't say nothing. He just looked me up and down, and he was quiet, right? So he was handling the ball. And he came off a screen and he went to throw the ball back. I think one of them, like Dirk tipped it out of bounds or whatever. And I screamed at Dirk, like, listen, just give me a little bit of help on this screen. My man ain't doing shit tonight. All that crap he be doing against the mother guards, I promise you it ain't working tonight. And I yelled it so he could hear it. I wanted him to hear it, right? So he looking at me like, and then the second half started. Beginning of the third quarter. I ran to him. And I said to him, you thought my old ass was going to pick you up at half court in the second half, didn't you? You thought I was going to pick you up at half court, didn't you? I said, nah, I'm on you. You got to show me something. I said, I don't think you that. So he just kept looking at me like this, like, man, who are you? Like, what are you talking about? Man, Damian probably had like 8 points that night. We blew them out. The funny thing is that season, I had first all defensive team votes. That season, they gave me first team all defensive team votes. I had like 3 or 4 all defensive team votes from coaches. Yeah. And I'm sure the coach for the Portland Trailblazers couldn't believe I did to Damian Lillard that night. And I know if anybody was to recite that story to him, I know he remember that. He got to. Like, it ain't no cap. Like, I was like, seriously, like, yo, you supposed to be that dude, and I'm old. So you supposed to be able to give me everything right now. I want to see it, though. Like, bust my ass. Show me. Like, nah, you ain't doing that, dog. We don't do that. You ain't doing that. And so it's just like, you know, that was my Toronto time. That was the career was fun. The basketball was fun. But the most important, the thing that stood out the most for me was the competition. That's what I loved. I love that matching up, that mano y mano. That was the thing that, do you know what I mean? That got me excited about the game. What am I going to do against you, and what are you going to do against me? And what can't you stop me from doing? And what can I stop you? What can I stop you from doing that you normally do on a day-to-day night? Funny story. Getting back to Miami. We played against Miami when I was in Toronto. You know, almost had a fight with Shaq. Fast forward, we played them in like 2 weeks. Again, like we played them again like 2 weeks in Miami. So we playing against them. So, you know, Dwayne Wade didn't play this game. So Gary Payton is getting all the minutes. So he's killing. This is when GP was with Miami. So he's killing. And he scored like 3 straight baskets. So, you know, he feeling himself right now. So I looked at him like, man, come on, man, stop playing. So he do one of these. He'll look me up and down, and he in his mix. You know, he doing his glove stuff. So I'm like, man, that's cute. That's what's up, GP. I see you. Like, I see you doing your thing. Like, this is what I remember how you play. So he looked at me, and he said, Mike, you talk a lot of mess. You talk a lot of mess. He said, I ain't Shaq. I ain't Shaq. So I said, ooh, so in my head, I was like, ooh, they talked about it. I was like, they talked about it. So that's what I said in my head, right? So I said to him, I said, GP, listen, right? We was at the free throw line. I whispered in his ear. He said, Mike, you talk a lot of shit. You talk a lot of mess. I ain't Shaq. I whispered in his ear. I said, GP, look here. I bark loud and I bite hard. He said, I bite harder. I said, we ain't got nothing to say to each other no more. Move him. However you feel, move him. So wherever he went, I would follow him. He would go talk to Pat Riley. I'll just be standing there looking at him. I wouldn't even say nothing. He'll be having a one-on-one conversation with Pat, and I'll just be like my arm against his arm. Like wherever he went on the court, I just made sure I was touching him. He bringing the ball up the court. I'm turning him 4 and 5 times up the court. I'm making it so hard for him right now. Like I'm making it so hard for him in this game, and he can't stop me on the other end. And I'm letting him know, man, I got that pity pat too. Don't play with me. So now I'm turned up. He's bringing the ball up the court, and he says to me, Mike, you must have thought I was some type of poop putt or something. I said, nah, GP, I respect you. You the OG of this game. Like I really want your jersey and your sneakers, but I don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? You the OG. I said, that's not the problem. You thought I was a poo putt.
I was sweet.
That was the problem. And when you realize, like, you barking up your own tree. You barking up a mindset like your own. Like, that's when you had to change that tune. You had to get me off you. And the only way that you got me off you was you changed that tune. You made it about basketball again. You didn't talk about fighting no more. And when you made it basketball, I just left it alone. Like, all right, you cool? We cool then. Leave it alone. Let's play basketball now. Like, I don't want to fight, but if that's what you on, I promise you, he is not a punk over here. He hate me to this day. He see me anywhere. He be like, 2 people hate me to this day. Gary Payton and what was his name? Played for the Mavericks. The shooter. I'll think of it. He was like, he went to Wisconsin.
Wisconsin Mavericks. Guard?
Like a 3-man.
Wisconsin. Who's that? I don't know who that is.
Nelson Finley. Michael Finley.
Okay.
Michael Finley. He see me. He rolls his eyes and go the other way. Like I be like, Mike, it was the playoffs, my dude. What you want me to do? Like, you want me to act like I'm not your friend in the playoffs. We competing against each other. But in this moment, The only people I care about is the ones that got the same color jersey on as me. If you ain't got the same color jersey on as me, however it go down, it's gonna go down, my dude. And I don't care. I spit in your face.
Like
my bad after the game. Like I get a napkin. Like I ain't mean to hit you there. I meant like throw it here, but like the wind blew it. Like and it hit you in your cheek. My bad though, dog. Like can I get your jersey? Can I get your sneakers? Like so to this day they don't fool with me because I used to be a butt on that court, man. Like you didn't just challenge. You didn't just play against my skill. You played against my toughness also. You had to match my toughness, you had to match my heart, and you had to match my skill. So if you was better than me, it was almost like chess with me. I always looked at it like chess. If I could scare you without playing against you and competing against you, I was always like, I got him.
Yeah.
Like I got him. He's soft. So all I'm gonna do is play. I'm gonna punk him. I'm gonna talk crazy to him, but I know he don't really want no problems. But if I saw that he was tough and I couldn't punk him, it was like, all right, damn. Let's play basketball now. Hey, I was like, all right, let me leave him alone. Like, we ain't gonna go that way no more. I see he got some spunk about him. So I ain't even gonna play with that no more. I'm gonna keep it basketball. But if I could punk you, I would punk you first.
And kind of just tying everything up, like we talked about it when we first started this. That's that New York state of mind that you're talking about, Kind of talk about when you at the deli, and you kind of said hi to the people, like this. That's that state of mind. Like you gotta not be sweet, and that's kind of been a testament for your whole career, And I commend you on that. I applaud you on that. Being a 13-year NBA vet, being an NBA champion, and being that dog that you are, like it's inspirational to see for the guards coming up, because you look at the NBA right now, there's not a lot of guys are like that. Yeah, you got. I think Jaw kind of is like that right now a little bit. But yeah, there's not a lot of guards out there right now that kind of have that mentality that I'm on whatever you're on,
Pat Riley said my rookie year. Pat Riley used to always give speeches before practice, after practice, before games. He would walk around with his blue paper. He had them little flip-flops. He had these shoes on. I don't know if they're that Italian leather. I guess these are the most comfortable shoes ever because he didn't wear no other shoes, but he would keep these shoes on and he'll be just clicking his bottom of his heels. And it used to always play. And I used to always be like, man, what is you going to talk about today? Like I used to always be curious about what would come out of his mouth because he always had a motivational speech for us.
Yeah.
And this one particular day, I had my head down and he was talking to us. And then he said, the way you respect a player is by not respecting them at all. And I looked up like, screw him, coach? Like, F him?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, F him.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me the way that I show respect to a player is by not giving him none at all? He is nothing. He got to earn, like, And that's the reason. And from that day forward, I played against every guard. The way I respect you, I ain't going to show you no respect at all. And that's me showing that's how much respect I have for you. It's about how I ain't going to give you no respect. You are a 14th player, even if you a superstar. Man, you a 14th player. I don't care who you are. I don't care about your name. I don't care about your accolades. I'm going to accept the challenge. And that's what we going off of right now, skill and heart. Throw out all that other stuff. Skill and heart is the only thing that we playing against right now. And mine is just as big as yours.
Just as, yeah. All right, man. Well, we end of this episode.
Thank you.
I want to say I appreciate you, man. I appreciate the stories. I appreciate you taking the time, chop it up with me. I appreciate everything about this last hour that we've been together. I definitely appreciate it. Before I let you go, do you have anything that you are working on right now, my brother?
Yeah, you can go to my website, zaharahemp.com, ZAHARA.com. I have a hemp company about to open up a consumption lounge this summer. And so also opening up a CBD lounge also this summer. So really just in that, been in the hemp industry for the last 3 years and really watching it grow and excited about being in the beginning stages of it And watching it and watching where we've started to where we are has been a blessing, man. Truly grateful.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Y'all make sure you guys go check that out. Yeah, man. That's it. It's been an episode of Francis and Friends podcast. Again, we appreciate Mike James, 13-year NBA vet, NBA champion, New Yorker. I appreciate you being out here joining me, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Take care. Peace.